OK, well, let's go to Michael Bosoku, who's a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council with the Eurasia Centre, and he joins us live now from Odessa in Ukraine. Thank you very much for your time. Now, what does this mean for Ukraine, and how reliant is Ukraine on US intelligence sharing?
Sure. Well, I'm kind of debating within myself whether I should call this game over or game changer, probably more of a game changer. But just on the back of what Charles said, I just returned from the Black Sea coast, and I can't give you too much detail, but I can tell you there has been a dramatic change in the defensive posture there. Things that were there yesterday are no longer there. And I suspect that's to do with the cessation, apparently temporary, of U.S. intelligence sharing. The other thing that will concern civilians here, so this is what most Ukrainians have on their phone. It's a map of the air raid siren map of Ukraine. And that will go off as soon as U.S. intel signals to the Ukrainians that a MiG has taken off far inside Russia, or one of those huge bombers that carry the ballistic missiles far, far, far deep into Russia. If that goes, and it appears that it has, that really leaves cities like Odessa, it leaves, in fact, all of Ukraine very, very exposed. People will die. People will die because of this. And I don't know if that's something the Trump administration can get into their thick heads. The other thing, of course, is, as has already been explained, the intel helps the Ukrainians with targeting inside Russia. It helps them with troop movements. It also gives them signals intercept as well, which is very, very important. But the big thing here, I can't overestimate this, is not being able to have the kind of eyes in the sky to remove those black spots that Ukrainians can see what is coming their way is it borders on catastrophic.
So, Mr. Michael, you were saying borders on catastrophic, a game changer. And is this all to almost twist the arm of Zelensky when it comes to this minerals deal? Perhaps you can give us some context on that as well.
Sure. Yeah, well, you see, that's what we can't figure out. You would think that it was groveling, the groveling yesterday of Mr. Zelensky. He had to bend over backwards for Mr. Trump to, apologize and say, let's get things moving. That he did. That box was ticked. And yet today, the Americans come forward, give the Russians another big gift, and say, we're pausing this intel. And it certainly cannot be replaced by the Europeans, at least not to the extent the Americans provided. But yeah, I mean, what was supposed to happen next after last night was, when that apology came, which Mr. Trump boasted about during his speech to Congress, is that things will proceed diplomatically, the minerals deal would be discussed, and the Americans wouldn't leave Ukraine as exposed.
And Mr.
I have no idea that...
I was just about to say, I mean, there are reports from Zelensky's chief of staff saying that US and Ukrainian officials will hold a meeting in the near future. That doesn't seem to have been confirmed, rather, by the US. How do you think that would go? And also, I mean, considering the last meeting between Trump and Zelensky, but also, what are the options that Zelensky or Ukraine has right now? Do they have any other option?
Well, there are not very many. And I'll give you a couple of thoughts here on why things have become suddenly dangerous. Number one, as we all know, is Mr. Putin is very, very good at exploiting weaknesses. And that's what we have right now. We have a huge void. The other thing that's happening, which, gives the parties very little space to act to protect Ukraine, to retain Ukraine where it is right now, is, according to my sources on the ground just outside Kyiv, is last night and into today, the Russians are using a new type of drones which travel around 650 kilometers an hour. These are very difficult to shoot down. They seem to have bigger payloads. So that is why I'm saying that time is of the essence right now. Of course, there's talk of a deal and meeting in Washington, but I also noted today that there was rumors of Emmanuel Macron going to Washington with Mr. Zelensky. That's off the table now, too. So things are moving very, very quickly. But again, it's a very, very dangerous time for Ukraine.
Very difficult time and also unpredictable at the moment. Thank you very much for your thoughts, Michael Vasocchio, a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council with the Eurasia Centre.
Thank you.